Hey food lovers! Today, we're diving into the world of crispy fried chicken and the perfect sides to complement it. We're talking about taking that golden brown juicy bird and pairing it with absolute knock-your-socks-off sides. Get ready to tantalize your taste buds and learn the secrets to sides that will make your fried chicken the star of the show. Let's get started. Mashed potatoes are a classic for a reason, but we're not settling for bland, lumpy mush here. We're talking about creamy, dreamy mashed potatoes that are bursting with flavor. You want to boil those potatoes until they're fork tender, then drain them properly. None of that watery rubbish. Now here's where the magic happens. Warm milk, a knob of butter, and don't be stingy with it. And a pinch of salt and pepper. Use a potato ricer or a masher, but for God's sake, don't even think about using a food processor. You'll end up with wallpaper paste. Keep going until they're smooth and silky like a velvet curtain for your taste buds. Honestly, this is basic stuff, but you would be surprised at how many people get it wrong. Get it right, and you'll have a side dish that's the perfect counterpoint to that crispy chicken. Coleslaw. It can be a sad, soggy afterthought, or it can be a revelation. We're going for revelation. We're talking about a coleslaw with a satisfying crunch and a tangy dressing that will cut through the richness of that fried chicken. Start with finely shredded cabbage and carrots. Then make your own dressing. It's simply and worth the time and taste. None of that bottled muck. Whisk together some mayonnaise. Good quality, mind you, with apple cider vinegar, sugar, and a touch of mustard. Last step to make dressing is to season it properly with salt and pepper. Now, here's the secret. Let the coleslaw sit for at least 30 minutes before serving. This allows the flavors to meld and the cabbage to soften slightly. This isn't rocket science, it's just about taking the time to do it right. You got this. Cornbread, a southern staple that deserves a place on your fried chicken table. But forget about those dry, crumbly excuses for cornbread. We're talking about moist, flavorful cornbread with a crispy golden crust. Now pay attention because this is important. Use a combination of cornmeal and all-purpose flour for the right texture. And don't even think about using that sweet, cakey stuff. This is cornbread, not dessert. The secret to moist cornbread? Buttermilk, my friend. It adds a wonderful tang and keeps things nice and moist. And here's a tip. Bake it in a cast iron skillet. It conducts heat evenly and gives you that beautiful crust. Mac and cheese, it's the ultimate comfort food, and it's the perfect way to add a touch of cheesy indulgence to your fried chicken feast. But we're not talking about that box stuff, you hear me? We're making real mac and cheese from scratch. First, cook your pasta al dente, then make a roux. That's butter and flour cooked together and whisk in your milk until it's smooth. Now, here's where you get to go wild with the cheese. Cheddar, Gruyere, Fontina. The possibilities are endless. And don't forget a pinch of nutmeg. It adds a subtle warmth that will take your mac and cheese to the next level. Bake it until it's golden brown and bubbly, and try not to burn your tongue when you devour it. Green beans. They're often relegated to the sidelines, but we're going to give them the respect they deserve. We're talking about vibrant, crisp green beans that are bursting with flavor. Forget about boiling them to death. We're going to blanch them in salted water until they're bright green and still have a bit of crunch. Then, we'll sauté them in garlic and butter for a simple but delicious side dish. And here's a chef's tip. A squeeze of lemon juice at the end brightens up the flavors and adds a touch of freshness. Let's talk about another fantastic side dish that pairs perfectly with crispy fried chicken. Sweet potato fries. These aren't your average fries. We're talking about perfectly seasoned, crispy on the outside, tender on the inside sweet potato fries. Start by cutting your sweet potatoes into thin strips. Toss them in a mixture of olive oil, salt, pepper, and a touch of paprika for a bit of heat. Spread them out on a baking sheet in a single layer and bake at 425 degrees Fahrenheit until they're golden and crispy. Serve them with a side of garlic aioli for dipping, and you've got a side dish that's sure to impress.